He didn't even look up when I asked, just stabbed another piece of fish and said, "It's just how they are." That was his answer after 4 days of being treated like I was nothing. His mother pretending I wasn't seated next to her. His father muttering prayers when I walked in, like I'd brought disease with me. His sister whispering behind napkins, laughing like the sound of my voice tasted sour. No seat for me at dinner, no acknowledgement, no warmth, just silence. And his excuses. "It's just how they are." No, it's how he was. It wasn't always like this. There was a time he couldn't go an hour without touching me. Texts, fingers brushing mine, whispered promises in the dark. I was the woman who saved him, he said. From what? A boring life? A real job? Accountability? We met in a bookstore. He was the charming type. Slocky hair, camera around his neck, travel blog following. I fell in love with the stories he told, never noticing how little he asked about mine. 2 years later, I was married, forgotten, and cornered at sea with people who hated me for reasons they never even named. It started before the cruise, a voicemail I wasn't supposed to hear. His sister's voice, "She doesn't belong in this family, you know it, we all do." And his reply, "I'm working on it." Working on what? He changed after that. Smiles became nods. Conversations became silence. Touch became absence. I studied him more carefully after that, watched how his phone tilted away from me, how he left the room to answer texts. He thought I didn't notice, but I've always paid attention to details. Quiet doesn't mean weak, it means watching. He didn't know I installed the tracker, didn't know I had access to his travel blog finances, didn't know I had a second passport, but he would, soon. I made the call on the 3rd night, not to him, to the crew. A connection from my father's side, a man who owed me a favor for keeping his name off court records when I worked in digital forensics. I asked him one thing, reroute the ship, just for 1 night. No alarm, no GPS update, no log. He laughed, then paused when he heard my tone. "Remote island," I said, "uninhabited, 40 nautical miles off our charted course." He said nothing for a while, then replied, "Understood." By morning we were anchored off a jungle-covered rock in the middle of nowhere. No cell service, no clue. Just birds, heat, panic, and a note. I left it on the breakfast table, folded, sealed with the red lipstick I hadn't worn in weeks. It read, "Enjoy the island. I'll send help. Eventually." By the time they found it, I was already on the last lifeboat. Engine humming, silent, invisible against the morning fog. No goodbye, no hesitation. I watched them from a distance, tiny figures yelling, running. His mother clinging to her pearls like prayer beads. His sister pointing, trying to make sense of the note. And him, barefoot, red-faced, scanning the horizon, looking for me. But I was already gone. He'll survive, of course. They all will. Eventually, someone will find them. But not before the hunger sets in. Not before the silence between them turns to blame. Not before the truth bubbles up. He'll have to explain why I left, why the satellite phone was missing, why the GPS was tampered with, why all the emergency supplies were gone. He won't be able to explain how his account was drained, how the travel blog mysteriously redirected to a new name, how every dollar he stashed away now funds a woman living in Tahiti under a different name. I told you, I pay attention, and I'm patient. He thought he married a soft-spoken, bookish woman with too much empathy and not enough edge. He married a strategist. Every slight his family dealt me on that ship was a spark. I let them stack the matches, let them light it. Then I made sure they burned. And the best part? He'll never know where I am. But I'll know everything about him. Because I left one tracker, just one, in his wedding ring. I imagine him standing there now, on that island, watching the horizon, wondering how it all slipped out of his hands. The man who worked on it finally got what he wanted: a family trip with me, and now a lifetime to reflect on how he treated me. Maybe now they'll speak to him the way they spoke to me. Maybe now he'll know what silence really feels like. Or maybe not. Either way, I'm free. And they're together, exactly what they wanted. And me? I have my ways too. The ocean never judges. It just carries you away.